Academy podcast, Twitch channel, YouTube channel, and all the other good stuff. I never can think of a good way to say all that. My name's Michael, and we are here tonight to hopefully, fingers crossed, bring back Detention, one of our most beloved shows. For some reason, I guess people like watching us make jackasses out of ourselves.
That's a good start.
It is a good start. So first of all, my guest tonight, guest co-host above me on screen is Ryan. Ryan, say hello to everyone.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you again.
We actually haven't seen each other, so talking to me as well.
Yeah, that's true.
We have not seen each other in a while. We did play a game of Dragonfire on Tabletop. We'll get to that in a minute. So one thing to know about this show is we have consciously sort of shifted our focus on all of our other shows to more of a family-friendly sort of vibe. We try to keep things PG-13. This is the exception. Not that we're going to necessarily just drop F-bombs for the heck of it, but there might be a little bit more adult language, adult talk here. So just be warned if maybe you're newer to the RPG Academy and you listen to our stuff and then suddenly you're like, whoa, this is kind of the sort of after hours, after dark type of show. It doesn't always go there, but just a fair warning that it might. Secondly,
as one might slip, please don't be too offended or turn us off.
Correct. That would be, yeah, we will try, but no promises. Secondly, I was in the hospital last night with a kidney stone attack, which I still have not passed as far as I know. And I'm currently pain-free, which is great. But the way kidney stones attack work, in 2 seconds, I might be in agonizing pain. So if I just end the stream all of a sudden, probably that's what happened. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but just fair warning, if I'm like, ow, and click a button and then everything goes dark, I've probably got to the floor and I'm currently in tears.
More reason to come back and see what happens.
Because actually I was streaming this morning. I'm streaming Legend of Zelda right now, and like 5 minutes before I was at the end of the dungeon, I could start to feel it, and I was like trying, and I got to the very end. I was like, all right, see you, bye. Same thing as like within seconds, I was in excruciating pain and got some pain pills in me, which I have with me right here. So if things go bad, I don't want to take those and try to do this because I will be loopy as all get out. But let's start off the show as we normally do. This is the first time back. One thing is we normally have three co-hosts, or three hosts, two co-hosts. But this being the first one back, we want to try it a little bit differently. We work our way into it. So we like to start with what we call Extra Curricular, and this is where we talk about what we've been up to. So Ryan, buddy, what you been up to? Anything, everything?
Oh man, I was starting that. That's how we were doing our audio test. I've been very busy at work. We trimmed down due to COVID from 13 people down to 6, so my workload has doubled. And we're not scheduled to get anybody back until this coming Monday. So it's been pretty stressful. We've been keeping busy. As always, kids, your scouts and sports kind of got canceled, so we've been doing stuff at home. Yeah. But we just started fostering our third dog this past Monday. So we work with a rescue where we got our current family second dog from, and we like the rescue so much that we are now fostering for them after about a year.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's been a little crazy trying to get adjustment to the new dog. Kids, the boys, I just had to clean up an accident. But all things considered, he's a pretty good dog so far. So just keeping myself really busy, safe, and a lot of family time lately. Unfortunately, the world being what it is, not a whole lot of time to go out and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Able to go out and do a lot of stuff.
I totally get that. I have 2 boys of my own, and we have 2 pets. And again, which we're in summer vacation now anyway, but we, like the last month and a half, 6 weeks or so of school, they were homeschooled because of basically, they closed the buildings down. And so I went here. I turned into a stay-at-home dad late last year, and one of the benefits for me is that, I get up in the morning, take care of the kids, I get them to school, and then I had roughly 5 hours every day, Monday through Friday, to do whatever I wanted. And I did a lot. We just moved into this house, so we had done a lot of organizing. I was painting. I did some work in the basement. It took up a lot of my time, but I kind of had gotten everything where I wanted it, and I was ready to start getting into doing more streaming and doing more podcasty stuff. And then that all stopped, and now I'm trying my best to wrangle the kids 6 hours a day. And I think the school system down here did a phenomenal job with what they had available to them and how quickly things happened. But my kids didn't have nearly a full day's worth of school to do. So, it's like they have like a 45-minute call, one of them, and then they had like an hour worth of packet they do, and then the other one had to get on a call. So it wasn't like I could even get into a routine where they'd be like, you go do this for 4 hours, I'll check on you, but you're kind of on your own. It was just constantly, what are you doing, what you working on, that kind of thing. So it kind of screwed things up.
Same boat, exactly the same boat. We started work from home at my job, so that allowed me to do the same thing you're doing effectively, and trying to do my job in my basement while keeping my boys occupied with schoolwork, with not nearly enough schoolwork, turns out. Same predicament.
Yeah.
My kids just finished first and third grade. Our boys are about the same age. It was challenging. So made the drive home, which was literally just a walk up the steps, really nice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any downtime or decompression either. It was work, walk up the steps, and surprise you're at home.
Yeah. Which again is nice, not having that commute. Before we moved, and I think you know this, I assume a lot of the audiences too, I had hurt myself pretty badly, had not a back injury. I didn't like fall off a roof, but my back got really messed up, and I was on disability for a while. So even though before I quit my job, I didn't work for like the last 6 weeks. So just being home every day, I was in a lot of pain and blah, 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 but just getting used to that was a big change as well. Welcome, New York Tater, one of our patrons and supporters, and probably the biggest supporter of Detention. Happy to have you here, sir.
One of these days, he should actually guest host.
That would be great, because I probably need a break every now and then. But I'm happy to have you in chat, sir, and happy to have you with us tonight. So I'm going to have to, I hate to do this, I'm going to have to take a quick break to step away. So Ryan, will you please entertain the masses for like 2 minutes, and I will be right back.
Oh, that's a really big buy, but I think I can do that since we're live. So if you don't know me, I've been around and a member of the RPG Academy for, oh my gosh, I'm going to say maybe 6 years, I feel like. I'm probably, my judgment of time is way off, but I've been around a long time. I help out with the catacons. These are kind of recordings. I'm a voice actor for some of the old shows. And my Twitter handle is Teleporta88. You can find me on multiple links with the RPG Academy. I'm not so much active in there because I try to keep a pretty active lifestyle with my family and balance things here. But hopefully you like what we do. And as the sign says, we are live. So if you find this boring, it's because I'm trying to fill time. And there he is. So hopefully not too bad. Michael, I like your shirt when you can hear me. There you go. I like your shirt, by the way. So I have a D&D themed shirt on. You can't really read all of it, but it says one way or another. And then it's got dagger, sword, great sword, D4, D6, D8. Somebody's going to get stabbed. So
nice.
I thought I would wear that in honor of today.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Not with the stabbing, but,
yeah, dice
rolls and such.
So the other big thing for me, again, I had weight loss surgery about four and a half months ago now. And so anyone who has not seen me in a while, it's pretty drastic. I'm down between 85 and 90 pounds. Depends on the day, but I'm moving that direction. So actually the shirt, I bought it yesterday. It's an extra large. And I know that's still big, but for me, I was wearing 3Xs for like 5 years. And a lot of my shirts were like XL tees. They were tall because I was already actually probably bigger than that. So it helped cover my belly. But yeah, I'm down to extra large shirt. And I even put on a large shirt yesterday, and it probably would have been fine, but I was a little self-conscious in it. I felt a little Michelin man-y. But probably another couple weeks, I'll be ready for that. So I'm pretty excited about that. But
it's definitely a move in the right direction. I'm really, I think it's awesome, Michael.
Yeah, it's literally life-changing. But in the nerd world, I have been streaming. My internet still sucks, but it has sucked less. We've kind of got a little bit of a grasp on it. So I've been streaming. I finished my Final Fantasy playthrough. So the original Nintendo Entertainment System Final Fantasy, I think it was 21, 22 episodes long. Finally beat that game. And then I started Legend of Zelda late last week, and I played my 5th session today. Hopefully I'm going to try to do 1 session per dungeon. So 9 sessions and that one will be over. And then the next one I'm going to do is Metroid. And I keep saying on those streams, I've played Final Fantasy hundreds of times. I played Legend of Zelda hundreds of times. I've played Metroid like 5 times, and that was a long time ago. So it's going to be awful. Like, I don't know where anything is. It's just going to be trying to figure stuff out. So that one's going to take like 4 years probably, because I don't know what I'm doing. But thank you, New York Tater.
All good games, though, and I commend you for doing that, because I love those games too.
So good.
Super Nintendo's Legend of Zelda is my all-time favorite game. I can't remember how many times I've beaten that game, but it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've played that Link to the Past. I think I played it once. Like, I don't know why I love the Zelda games. So that might be something I jump into in the future. I'm going to play through not every Nintendo game, but there's a few that I just love. Those are probably the big 3, Final Fantasy, Zelda, and Metroid.
See, I'm going to get some flack. I didn't care for like the GameCube version of the Zelda edition. I didn't, wasn't real big on the Switch version that came, Breath of the Wind. I don't know. And you know, if you want to throw some shade on me, rightfully so. I'm more of a classics guy. I suspect I'll get a little bit of flack for that. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, the original Nintendo and Super Nintendo versions have always been my favorite. So kind of jealous. Along those lines, I have introduced, because we haven't been able to game so much, the closest thing that I have found, I finally we'll say bought in, quite literally, and caved to a buddy of mine, a friend of the show that listens and has been on a few, my friend Ed. If you've been around a while, you may have seen or heard of him once or twice, but my son Brady and I have been playing Diablo 3 on the Switch, and he really likes that. I finished 1 season, and I've already started on my next season. Well behind, we're in season 21. I started in 20. And I've always known about the game. I just never really, it was like, it's a hype game. I don't want to get into it. I know, because I knew I was going to like it. Mm-hmm. And now I want to kind of play it every day, but that's not possible. Yeah. So I found myself staying up late at night when I can't sleep, playing that.
Yeah. Well, I just mentioned New York Tater again. He's been living in hotels, so he's unfortunately been putting on a little bit of weight. But you may get to go home in December if there's no hurricane. So let's all hope collectively, because God knows we don't need anything else right now. Hopefully there's no hurricanes between now and December, or
dear Lord,
or even after. But we started playing Tabletop Simulator, which I've had for a while, but I think I played 1 game on there. And then I found out that Dragonfire was on there. And there was a hot minute up in Cincinnati, that was our game. We played it all the time. We were so into it. I bought all the expansions. And probably if I hadn't moved, we would still be playing it like pretty regularly. But I found it was on Tabletop Simulator. So we got in, we actually played that game. It was me, you, Michael V, or not Michael V, Michael F, Variator, played, and was Brad there, or is it just the 3 of us?
Brad wasn't able to get in.
Yeah. So, but we're going to try to start playing that like weekly, kind of like we did before. And I'm super excited about that. But the biggest news is I found out Marvel Legendary is on there. And
wait for it.
Oh my God. Now here's the thing. These are hopefully I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to, but we're not paying for these games. Like, we paid for Tabletop Simulator, but these are what they're called workshop areas. So basically someone just put it on there. I hope that that's not illegal. I don't know. It seems weird that I can play the game without, but I own every freaking card already. But I'm not like, I don't have to rebuy, every card because I already have them all. And I had been playing that solo because even though Tabletop Simulator is wonky and it still does things I don't like, it's still faster for me to set up Marvel Legendary on that than it is to drag out all my cards. And then especially when I'm done, I can just like flip the table and log off. I don't have to actually put everything back up. So I've been playing Marvel Legendary a lot, and I want to play it with people. So if you like Marvel Legendary, please get Tabletop Simulator and let's play, because I love that game.
It was well worth it. I'm glad I got it. I can't wait to play Dragonfire again. I was thrilled. I was actually amazed at how fast we were able to come together to play that game once we heard it was on there.
Yeah, because it's again, just couple hours on a night, which we would have driven to my house before anyways, but you don't have to drive and just log on. And it's such a convenient thing. And right now, again, I don't Tabletop Simulator is not sponsoring this episode, but I think it's still 50% off. So it's like $10 to buy the simulator. And there's so many games on there that you can play. And even if it is a game someone has to buy, like I bought Zombicide when I first got it so I could host that game. As long as one person buys it, everyone else can play for free anyways. So it's still pretty, it's like, just like anything else. Like if you came to my house and I had Zombicide, we can play it. You don't have to pay me for the game. Same thing on TTS. If you buy Zombicide, anyone can play your copy of it. So, but anyways, enough of that.
Comes in very handy.
It does come in very handy. It's now time for everyone's favorite part of the show, where we make complete asses of ourselves playing improv games badly. And the first improv
there's only
game,
2 of us, so it's going to go really bad.
Yeah, and quickly, hopefully. We'll get back a Band-Aid. But the first improv game we like to play here is 10 Things. And this is a game of immediacy where we will prompt each other to try to come up with 10 examples of a thing, and we just see how well we do. So, Ryan, you're the guest tonight. Do you want to prompt me first, or would you like to go first?
Oh, geez. I'll go first. I have some ideas, but I don't know that any of them are related to anything we've been talking about so far. I don't want to say something stupid or challenging out of frustration. I will receive the prompt first. And let me imbibe a little bit first.
Yeah. Get some liquid courage. All right. So I usually like to try to tie what we've been talking about to extracurricular when I can. So let me ask you this question first. What is the name of the dog you're fostering?
We called him Scout.
Scout.
We got to name him.
Okay.
So, and the boys, naturally, all of us being Scouts, that's what we called him.
Perfect. So give me 10 names for future animals that you might foster. And these could be hippogriffs and giraffes. They don't have to actually be dogs. But I need 10 names of future foster animals. Go.
Shadow, Demon, Streak, Bolt, Lightning, Thumper, Digger, Muscles, Tank, Jackrabbit.
Yay!
Is that 10?
That is 10.
My quickest 10 ever.
Yeah, you got through those really quickly. Oh, so New York Cheddar.
Luckily, I still had a few names in my mind that the kids were throwing out, so I did copy a few of those. So I kind of cheated, but
no, absolutely. That's the whole point. So we actually didn't do "What are you drinking?"
That's true.
I've done away with that segment only because I'm ignorant of some of the Twitter rules or Twitch rules, and I wasn't sure if like having alcoholic drinks named. Because I always drink water.
Yeah, we're not really sponsored either.
So just being cautious, but I'll tell you, I'm drinking flavored water. Because all I drink anymore is water or flavored water. Those are the only 2 things I drink. This is flavored grape water. It's not Kool-Aid.
Not bad.
It's flavored water, grape.
So, I have an adult beverage and also safely water that I didn't finish earlier. So, balance.
Yeah, you got to have a chaser, right?
Yeah, well, something like that.
Yeah, I don't drink Avenue. Okay, so now it's my turn to make a fool of myself. So what is the 10 things I'm going to be thinking?
Okay, I got one. So give me 10 people or characters that you would like to play a virtual game with, since everything now is over Zoom and virtual. Doesn't matter, live or dead. So 10 people, 10 characters. Could be a real person, could be a fake person, could be a character from a...
All right, I think I got you. All right, so basically these are people I want to play games with, real or fictional.
Yes.
All right. Stephen King. I would love to play an RPG with Stephen King. Same thing, George R.R. Martin. I think he would be amazing. Yoda and Luke Skywalker. I think that would be a lot of fun. Jack Shepard from Mass Effect. I think it's Jack, one of those. Shepard. Let's call him Shepard. Can you hear my kid screaming? Is it coming through the mic?
A little bit. I'm downstairs, so that's the only reason. Although you could probably hear my dogs crashing a few minutes ago. So up to 5.
Hopefully you didn't hear that. I think I turned my mic down. Hopefully, I just yelled.
I heard it. We'll see if anybody else. New York Tater, give us a.
I didn't like me mean. I just told him to be quiet. Scooby Doo.
6.
Batman,
7,
Catwoman,
8,
Captain America,
9. There's one that I'm surprised you haven't named yet.
And who? Buffy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, there's 10. There's 10 things.
It took me longer to get there than I would have liked, and plus I had to take.
I am completely surprised you did not name Deadpool.
But we're not going to get through the game though. That's the problem. It's like we're never actually going to finish that game. It's going to become very frustrating.
That's true.
All right. So New York Tater says he didn't hear me. Which all I yelled was, "Hey kids, quiet down." I didn't curse at them or anything. But I'm on the upstairs. They're on the downstairs, so I had to yell for them to hear me, not just yell. But anyway, okay. So now we're going to move on to our meat and potatoes topic. This one's going to be a little bit weird because this is usually where our third guest, who's not necessarily part of the Academy, joins. It's called Used Books. And the idea is we're going to talk about a campaign that one of us has played in or ran and see if we can dig out some lessons. But I thought actually what we'd do tonight is I'm going to talk about Forbidden Lands just for a little while. Are you familiar with Forbidden Lands, Ryan?
I have not, so this would be the perfect topic for you to take me to school.
Hopefully. So we, it's a game I've had for a while. I got it on the recommendation of someone else. And, again,
wait, is this a board game? We may have played this one time.
No, this is a role-playing game.
Okay. Nope. No, I was thinking of maybe Forbidden Island.
Yeah, Forbidden Island is a game we have played, but Forbidden Lands is an RPG. Okay. It was, I think it was released by Free League Press. So Aeon Ashes jumped in and said if they didn't have a kitten, they would love to play Cards with Spike. So Forbidden Lands is a role-playing game. I've had it for a while, and then I just I've been trying to do this thing through the Discord, where I've been trying to run a game every week. I'm successful about 40% of the time, and I'm trying to do different games. I love D&D. I know there's a lot of heat right now. I still love D&D. I'm still going to play D&D. So this isn't me trying to get away from that. This is just me wanting to play other games and explore and learn things. So I decided I wanted to run a session of this, and there's a Kickstarter available. It's like a 150-page PDF. It's a big, thick tome PDF. It's free. And I thought, that's
a really big PDF.
Yeah,
that had to be daunting.
Well, but it includes an adventure and pre-gens and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
So I decided I would run that, and it was a lot of fun. It does a lot of things that I don't normally do or don't always do. Like it makes you track resources a lot more than I would. The combat's a lot grittier than I normally would do. But it was a lot of fun. So I want to talk just a little bit about it. Some of the things I liked. I don't want to get too much into the adventure because I'm running the same adventure again this Saturday for another group of players. And just in case any of them listen to this, I don't want them to, I'm not going to give anything major away. But the first thing that this game is it is very much like an old school hex crawl survival wilderness adventure. So in my mind, there's basically two parts of the game. There is hex crawling exploration, and then there's actual dungeon delving type of a thing. So the conceit of the game is that there was this land, the Forbidden Land, that was for like 300 years inaccessible. No one could go there, and it just was lost to the ages. Maybe like closer to 1,000 years. I don't remember. But now suddenly the way has been opened up, and this land is now available, and your characters, you aren't heroes like I normally play D&D. You're heroes. You're not a hero in this game. You are a mercenary, a treasure hunter, someone who wants to just go in, find enough treasure to come back and live like a king. Like that's your goal. Is you're not like trying to save people. You might end up doing that accidentally.
Almost Cthulhu-esque, I guess.
So I would almost like Conan. It's kind of what comes to my mind. It's just that Conan always gets into these adventures, but he's not necessarily a good guy, right?
True.
So that's here. It's like you're not playing evil people either. You're playing people who they see this opportunity for riches and they're willing to take this very dangerous risk. But if they are successful, like if they go defeat a dragon and get its treasure, they're done. They're not going to let's go fight another dragon. They're like, whew, we survived. Let's take all this gold back home and live like kings and queens for the rest of our life. So part of the aspect that they have these somewhat granular rules for exploring these hexes. And the game comes with a map, and it comes with a sticker book. And so when you play in this world, you may find something on hex A7 that I put there as the DM that is not on anyone else's map. So you would put a little sticker that said, like castle. We found a castle here. And so now on our map, we know there's a castle there. There's also markers if your characters die, and it's going to happen a lot. So you can have like a little, Rygar the Seventh died here, and we have a little X where we mark the spot where our characters died.
All right, now that I love that. That's hilarious.
That is kind of cool. I actually like. So you have these rules for breaking down the day into 4 quarters. You have morning, day, evening, and night. And you can, depending on which type of terrain you're in, you can travel so many hexes, but you have to roll. So one of you leads the way and rolls to see how well you do. And if you roll well, you go the direction you want it. If you roll poorly, you might fall into quicksand or you might get lost. You have to roll for scouting. So there's all kinds of random encounters. So I roll a random encounter first to see if there is anything. If there is something, I then tell you, hey, whichever one of you was scouting, because only one person can scout, you now need to roll to see if you see what's coming. If they fail, then they walk right into what I rolled. If they did well, then they can get a chance to see it ahead of time and maybe set up their own ambush or avoid it. You have things for rations, which I actually think this is really smart. I don't like tracking rations, but if you're going to, I think this is smart. So your food, your water, and your torches are all, they have a die associated with them. Normally it's a D8, and this is your resources. Every time you eat, you roll a D8. If you roll a 1 or a 2, your D8 becomes a D6. If you don't roll a 1 or a 2, nothing happens. If your die is a D6 and you roll a 1 or a 2, you're out. So you could go for weeks in game time of drawing a D8, never hitting 1 or a 2, and you're fine. But 2 bad rolls, now you're out of water. I think the same thing goes for arrows. I know it goes for food, I know it goes for water, I know it goes for torches. So that's how you keep up with your resources. You don't actually count, like you have 50 and now you have 49. It's just like we ate, we still have food. There's also hunting, fishing, and foraging available in the game. So if you do run out of food, you can complement or you can refill those rations. So if I run out of water, I can go buy a water skin and now I have a D8 again. So it's not like it's gone forever. But you have to manage resources.
Explaining this jumps out at me is this seems way more crunchy than I have ever played a game with you. And I'm surprised to hear that you seem so fond of this.
Yes.
Because it's a lot more crunch and a lot more dice rolls than you like to do.
Yes, I agreed. This isn't, if someone else would explain this to me, this is not a game that I think I would enjoy. But I think kind of like Dungeon Crawl Classics, what I got out of it that I thought was fun is how absurdly dangerous this world is. Like you're going to lose characters. In our first fight, we literally had a TPK. So we did this multi-dimensional rewind. And so instead of that, so basically I rolled a random encounter. It was a griffin. Griffin shows up.
A griffin?
A griffin. That was a random encounter.
Doesn't seem like a terribly terrifying creature, from D&D experiences wise. But
so when you have a fight with these creatures, it has a list of tactics that you can roll from. So I did everything randomly. So I rolled a D6 and its first attack was a wing buffet. And they got to attack everybody. I rolled well enough. I killed one character outright from the wing buffet. I critically injured the other. And we messed up the rules. And the third character ended up shooting the griffin and causing enough damage for it to leave. But then we realized later that because both of the other characters were down, that character couldn't have ran it off by itself. So we just assumed that everyone would have died. So he's like, blah, 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 blah. That didn't happen. And then throughout the rest of the adventure, I kept going, like every time they were in danger, I'd be like, you hear the call of a griffin. Wah, wah! Because like the memories of them dying would come back to them. But then you just run into like,
I feel like you've been killed by this before.
I feel like this is dangerous. So they ran into a griffin, they ran into an ogre, they ran into a death knight. All on random encounters.
Yeah, that's pretty random.
I've been playing...
That's a crazy island.
D&D for like 35 years at this point. I don't think I've ever actually used a death knight.
Knight? Yeah.
Yeah, intentionally put a death knight in a game. And I just rolled on a table and all of a sudden they're fighting one. So it
sounds like a Gary Gygax dungeon. You were channeling...
It kind of does.
Gary.
But so that was a lot of fun. And then there's an adventure in the game where So again, you're trying to find this magical artifact, this item. And then the combat of the game is also much crunchier. And this is the part I didn't grok it very well. So when I roll to attack you, I roll a number of d6. Oh, so it's okay. Let me start over. Start over. What I do think is really cool about this game is you roll a bunch of d6s, which isn't my favorite. D12s would have been better, but I'll give them a pass on this. But you break your dice down to different pools, so they're different colors. So like when you are trying to climb a mountain, you have so many dice based off your natural strength. Usually it's like 1 to 5. Then you get so many dice if you're trained in climbing, also like 1 to 5. And then if you have any gear, like rope or pittons, you get gear dice. And you put all those together and you roll them. And you're just looking for successes. 6s are successes. If you fail, then you can kind of look and see, like, did I fail because I wasn't strong enough? Did I fail because I wasn't a skilled enough climber? Did I fail because my rope failed me? My rope broke? And it's like, it's a simple way, but it's almost like narrative dice from Genesis, but not quite that. Because it doesn't like, you don't have like complications and boosts or anything, but you're just like, okay, I did really well, but the only reason I passed is because I had 2 successes on my rope. So I know that my rope, so then when you're narrating your climbing, you can like take inspiration from that.
So do you get to pick kind of what you use if you succeed on things, or how does it?
Well, as long as you succeed. Like you can just say I succeeded. You don't have to get into it. But if you because normally you only need 1 success at all. But some things might require you to have more than one. Mm-hmm. But you can look and see. Like I had 4 successes total. All 4 of them were on my skill. So the only reason I was successful here is because I'm trained at this. So again, when you're just narrating how it looks, you can kind of use that as inspiration. You don't have to. It's not required. But I think it's a cool way. And it's a simple way to add that granularity where you have multiple colored dice. You can always push. So if you fail, you can re-roll, but you don't re-roll anything that rolled a 1, and you don't re-roll anything that rolled a 6. You roll everything else. And now, since you pushed, any 1s hurt you, like literally hurt you. So if you take damage from 1s, or if like the ones on your gear, now your gear is damaged. And
so you would go down a dice, you were saying.
You would go down a dice on that, and if it goes down too far, it's broken. So you know that your rope is broken. Your swords can get duller. Your shields can get splintered. And again, it's a lot more granular and crunchy than I normally would do, but I like the way they've done it. It's not overly complicated, the management portion. Combat is complicated. That's the one part, again, I'm not really grokking because, so I roll to hit you. Let's say I roll 12 dice. I need 1 success to hit you. Every additional success is additional damage. My sword might do 2 damage. So I do 2 plus 1 for any additional success beyond the one that actually caused me to hit you. But then you get to roll your armor. Same thing. Your armor may have a rating of 5. You roll 5 dice, and every success subtracts damage. You also can parry. You can dodge. But you have to declare that you're doing those, and they take an action. If you've already used all your actions, you can't do it. So like if I'm going second and I dodge, then I have 1 less action on my turn because I had to use my dodge on your turn. So it's a lot crunchier. That's the one part I really didn't quite understand, but luckily my players had read. But I have to say, I had a blast. We were laughing at just the absurdity. It's like, hey, you're walking through the woods. Now there's a death knight. You're walking through the woods. Now you're all dead.
Now you're all dead.
And now you're all dead.
That's great.
So I really, really liked it. Big fan. I'm looking forward to playing it again now that I've got a little bit better grasp on it. And I did contact the publisher, and they're sending me a free copy of their new campaign called The Bitter Reach, which is like a frozen wasteland. And Tom and I are going to do a review of it. So we're going to have a full review of the campaign setting pretty soon. But
coming soon on the RPG.
I haven't got the book yet, so it's not going to be that soon. But soon-ish. But yeah, I actually, despite everything I know about myself, I really liked that game.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I will say that I did always enjoy the combat and the crunch when we played, but you can narrate a story like few others can. So I'm glad that this is something that's different for you. It's, as excited as you are, I actually am intrigued and would want to play with you guys.
I got 1 spot open for the Saturday game if you're free.
I'll have to see if I'm free. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, it's on the Discord, and anyone listening now or in the future, jump on Discord. I'm organizing pretty much a game a week if I can find players. So yeah, and if anybody else is watching right now, New York Tater, Aeon Ashes, I have one spot left open for the Saturday game. If either of you are free and are interested, just jump on Discord.
There you go. Somebody take that from me, because we always like to have listeners participate more than anything else.
Yeah, pretty much. It started as like a patron only thing, but I just wasn't getting enough people that could or would join. So now I've kind of just opened it up to anybody on Discord, and still, like on occasion, I'm not getting enough people that are interested. But yeah, I'm trying to run basically a game a week. So if you're interested in playing in a game, jump on Discord and check out. There's several channels. We're a pretty small community, so it's not overwhelming. There's not so much noise that you have to worry about keeping up. You can just ignore everything except to like the 2 channels you're interested in. But I highly encourage anybody, if you're watching this, you probably would have fun on our Discord.
I'm going to mute myself for 1 second, just so you know.
Okay. That sucks, Tater. But again, sometime in the future, maybe, if work slows down for you, that would be cool. I do occasionally run games on Sundays as well. I'm open to trying to find days where people can join. So like I've offered to run games on Sundays as well. So it just depends on like, what I'm running, who else is available, and all that kind of good stuff. So
sorry about that. My one of my youngest son was here, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, the new dog peed on the stairs. Go take care of it."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened.
Thanks for the notice. Kind of busy.
Yeah, I totally understand. So any other questions about Forbidden Lands or anything you want to shout out before we move on?
Is there like a limit to the monsters that show up, or what's like the biggest?
If you've come across something like this alone, you're pretty much gone.
Okay.
But you could, but yeah. Oh, excuse me. So New York Tater asked, there is no connection to Forgotten Realms
upstairs when you're done, please.
that I know of, because it's not a D&D product. So I don't think there's any connection. There might be something that maybe if I was more educated that maybe there is, but I don't know. And Gygor68 jumped in. Yeah, sorry, my internet died for a minute, but it looks like it came back. So yay. But thanks for joining, Gygor68.
We almost used the whole tower up.
So, did you get a list of all the monsters? What's the craziest?
Other
than a Death Knight, are there some really crazy things that are available to use?
I think the Death Knight was probably like the craziest, because I'm just using the quick start rules. It has a list of monsters that kind of go with the adventure. The Death Knight was a random encounter, but all the monsters, I think there's some crossover. But I'm sure in the actual book there's a bunch more. But I would say the Death Knight's probably the one that that was just like holy camole. There's a giant squid. There was a griffin. There's an int.
Here's this
ogres,
and out pops a giant squid from a pond.
Yeah, well, maybe not a pond. Maybe like a large lake, possibly.
Loch Ness monster.
But the monsters themselves don't have a ton of hit points. Like the way it works, you have 4 attributes: your strength, agility, your wits, and your empathy. Most of the time you take damage to strength. Your strength is probably going to be like 3 or 5, maybe 6 at the most. So you take 6 damage, you're dead. Or you're at least getting close to that anyways. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to die because you don't have many hit points, and they don't ever really get any more. You can get better armor so you can defend yourself, but it's not like, you have 87 hit points at 5th level type of a thing. Same thing with the monsters though. The Griffin has a strength of 8. It has 8 hit points. So it's not like it's that crazy much to get through, but it's just, it does so much damage that it's dangerous. It's a very different feel than what I'm used to, but I enjoyed the absurdity of it. I was laughing quite a lot. I had a lot of fun with it.
That's what we love.
Alrighty. So let's move on to the second most favorite part of the game, where we continue to make asses out of ourselves.
Oh, this is the part I dread the most because I'm horrible at it.
Oh, everybody is. Me especially. And this is where my fingers been. So we play a little improv game where we will prompt each other to make up a short scene where our fingers have been, and you have to have them talk to each other. If you want to pull a Scott, you can bring in a third, just because he always likes to do that because he's actually good at improv. But Ryan, you are our guest. So again, would you like to prompt me first, or would you like to pull off the Band-Aid and get this over?
I went first and last time, so we will share. We will let you go first.
So first we have to sing the song. Because if you don't sing the song, pitchforks will come out. Where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
My fingers been?
All right, so Ryan, where have my fingers been? Up my nose.
Let's see.
Up your
Michael,
nose.
your fingers have been. Oh, geez, Pete's. I'm trying to think of something game related, and I can't really. See, this is why I'm bad at these things, because I can't ever make a decision. Your fingers are on their way to your favorite game store, and you've just found out it's been closed because of the pandemic.
Okay, so are you sure this place is open? Like, you're positive that this game store is open? Yeah, dude, seriously, I checked. It's on Facebook. They're open. Okay, because like, look around, dude. There's nobody on the streets. There's like nobody on the streets. Everything's closed. We're both wearing masks. Of course I'm wearing a mask. What, I'm an asshole? But you think this place is open, even though everything else is closed. This place is open. 100%. It's open. See, right there. Son of a... And that's where my fingers have been.
My fingers have been.
So unfortunately, it looks like Tater lost us for a bit. That was by far the best fingers I've ever done. I'm sorry you missed it, sir.
The most recent time is always the best. Sorry, New York Tater.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry that you missed the greatness that was my fingers in that moment. Okay, Ryan, you must sing the song.
All right. Where have my fingers been? I say, oh, where have my fingers been?
Your fingers have just come upon the remains of a random encounter where a death knight attacked a bunch of adventurers in the forest in the Forbidden Lands.
All right. So, walk. Hey, man, what's that over there? What do you mean? I don't see anything. Right there. Over there. Oh, that? That looks like some dead bodies. Let's not go over there. No, I totally want to go over there. We need to loot that. Yeah, they look pretty cut up and mostly burned, and that's a big boot print. I'm not getting anywhere near it. We're here for treasure. Doesn't matter if it's big treasure or little treasure. We're here for treasure. You're going. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. No, you are. Watch. And boink. Come on. We're going to go. And that's where my fingers have been.
Nice. Yay! Oh, I hope you enjoyed that, New York Tater. That was almost literally just for you. And now we're going to move on to our last main segment. Since we have a couple people hanging out with us in chat, we will do our audience Q&A at the end. But it's called Cryptozoology. And this is where we talk about a monster, primarily from D&D, but not always. We talk about ways that maybe we have used it in the past. We talk about maybe brainstorming some ways that we could use this monster in the future. We shall see. But tonight, actually, Ryan let me pick, just because he wasn't home and didn't have access. I can't talk. But
to be fair, I probably would have picked something as uncommon as Michael picked, and I do like this pick very much.
So I went with what's called the Zorn, which is this three-legged, three-armed, top-mouthed, three-eyed elemental creature that likes to eat coins and gems and rock, but not people.
Precious metal. Yep.
So this is from
organic.
Also this is from the 5th edition Monster Manual. A Zorn is a medium elemental. It's a challenge rating of 5. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'll go through some of it. Its abilities are Earth Glide, so it can move through Earth like a fish through water. It does not leave any trail as it goes through that, so basically you wouldn't even know it's there. Stone camouflage, you can look and blend in with stone. And it also has treasure sense, so it basically can smell treasure that's like calling to it like food. And they're basically native to the elemental plane of Earth. They usually don't come to the material plane because they like it better where they are, but sometimes they get curious or they get trapped here.
And it says by accident or curiosity. I'm really I really want to meet the DM that finds a way to get this guy to the material plane by accident. Like, that's super creative.
Should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah, I mean, Looney Tunes special. I really don't know how he's going to get there on accident. So
yeah, well, so Aeon Ashes, it doesn't make tunnels. So that's the thing is, it moves through the earth, it leaves no trace that it was there. So it's because one of the points in the book is that it doesn't actually leave tunnels. It does say that they're beggars and thieves, though, because they don't eat meat. They can't digest it. So if they come upon adventurers, they're more likely to beg for things that they can eat if they're hungry than they are to attack, but they, of course, will defend themselves. So my question to you...
It's intelligence 11, which means they're capable of rational thought and having a conversation. It doesn't... Their language is uncommon, so that would be a hard part figuring that out.
Yeah, likely, unless you have like a wizard or something with you, probably won't be able to speak to it, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question to you, Ryan, is have you ever used a Zorn in one of your games? Have you ever fought a Zorn as a player?
I have not, mostly because my campaigns have been on the material plane for the most part. So since this isn't commonly found there, it isn't something I would use. However, my first thought when I you told me you wanted to use this is a walking sarlacc pit, minus the stone. So no, I always like the uncommon monsters. I always like to find a way to use them, or to use them somehow as maybe cut them in half and use them as a trap somewhere, something out of the ordinary. But this guy poses a challenge to a lot of things because, like you said, it eats metals and treasure. It potentially could be going after the same treasure trove at the end of a dungeon that the players do. And as a challenge rating 5, he's really not that high. I mean, you should come across one of these things, once as a decently low level character. So he should be more common, I feel like. But because he's, natural to the elemental plane of Earth, a lot of people don't like to, it's not, your common setting. But again, it says whether by accident or from curiosity, they like to branch out on occasion. So no, I would be excited to use this guy. I'm going to try to do so now.
So I don't think I've ever used one before. As long as I've ran the game, if I did maybe in my younger days and I just had it like as a attack, like something to kill, a stick, a sack full of hit points. But I don't think I've ever used one, in the last 5-10 years. But I'm interested to do so because it's not something that you just need to hit with a stick until it dies. And I think it would be more fun to try to use it in, like, the first thing that came to my mind is like a Truffle Pig. Like maybe you're trying to find treasure. Like maybe, you've heard tales of this treasure. Well, what better way to find it than to have one of these things, put it on a leash and have it, or it may not put it on a leash. I think it's an intelligent creature, but just set it loose and follow it, and hope that you get there quick enough that it doesn't eat everything. So I think that would be...
It doesn't go down because you'll never see it again.
Right. That's true. I mean, it would have to be something where maybe it knows that you're following, or something along those lines.
Yeah, some kind of bargain.
Because they're intelligent, so they could, you could have that conversation with them where you say, hey, we're looking for this. If you'll help us find it, we'll do this thing from you. I could see it coming to the characters and asking, maybe they found a treasure and there's like 5 gems, but one of them tastes like, it's like a delicacy. This is very like a rare type of gem. Maybe it's one that it's something not magical, I don't know, like powerful, but just unique enough that it's really wants one in particular, and they, characters get to bargain with it. I like the thought that there's one of these. It's like courting another. So I don't know if they're male or female, but maybe they're trying to get together and they want something to impress their other half that they're trying to court. And they ask the players for help. Like, hey, I would really appreciate it if you would let me borrow or have this thing or help me get this thing. Cause I want to, I want to get my earth on over here with this lovely lady. And so that's what, you're trying to do is very much make it a social situation. I just think that could be a lot of fun.
It's, and it's the social aspect is good because literally it looks like a rock with 6 limbs and a bunch of teeth. Not the everyday creature that you're going to walk up to and have a conversation with.
Yeah, it definitely would be that. That alone would be like weird.
Yeah, and it says it has 3 eyes. It can see in all directions. So it's not like you're going to surprise the thing. It's a medium size. So it's actually not going to be like overly daunting. It's not going to be so much bigger that the players feel like they need to gang up on this thing to beat it. And since it's intelligent, it would only take one suave player, a bard or a rogue, to make a couple good rolls and kind of get what they want out of this thing. It's I don't know. I'm surprised at how versatile this thing could be.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely something I would want to put in at some point. New York Tater mentioned that it kind of becomes annoying, which I do like that, almost like a Gollum situation. Maybe it just follows the players, and like when they're asleep, it tries to eat their treasure. And
you have to constantly give it like copper coins to keep it sedated.
Like a chicken, you're throwing your copper coins at it to keep it sated so it doesn't go after your good stuff. But because it can move through the earth undetected, it could just pop out, easily grab something and disappear. And it could just be a minor annoyance that, maybe eventually they do kill it, but it could be kind of that moral quandary. It's not really hurting you. How do you scare it off? Do you Old Yeller it or fang it from where you throw the rocks at it? Like, get on out of here. Like, how do you deal with this other than killing it, or do you just kill it? It could be an interesting sort of psychological experiment for the players. How do you deal with this thing that's not really hurting you, but is really annoying?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's funny too, because you've got one of these things with you and you're camping or you're resting for the night. Not only do you have to tie your food up and put it in a bag over the limb to prevent it from creatures and bears, but now you have to put your gold up there from somebody in your own party. So that's kind of funny because say somebody's got this big pouch of gold tied to them and they take a rest and they take a seat down on a rock. This thing could just, absorb itself into the rock real quick. Out goes a little limb and yoink, there goes your chain purse.
Oh, so how about this? Classic D&D bad movie moment. That exact situation. Someone sits down. They got their belt pouch on them, full of gems. Mm-hmm. The creature grabs it and then tries to earth glide, and you just have them like skidding along the top by their belt, and it just looks like they're being dragged by like an invisible horse or something.
That's hilarious.
So they start zipping around. They try to pull them into the earth. They're getting like pulled, and it hurts, and then eventually their belt snaps. They don't know what happened. All they know is that they were getting dragged around and now their purse is gone. That would be awesome. And New York Tater, I didn't focus on your comment about being annoying. It just happened to see it. It was not any sort of dig towards you. I mean,
we love you because you're almost every one of these things.
Yeah. You again, literally, this is almost literally for you because I know out of anyone, you're the one that misses these. And I feel bad because I want to do these. I want to do these a lot. But life gets in the way and my internet drives me crazy. But we're going to try. That the goal is to get back into the habit of doing these pretty regularly. I did sign up for Earthlink. I signed up to be a beta tester. There's no guarantee that I will be a beta tester, but I put my name on the list. And that's that new super fast internet that Elon Musk is trying to bring to the world. Dude's super sketchy, but if he can give me good, reliable internet, I will happily pay for it.
Best friends.
Best friends forever right now. But sometime later this year, they're supposed to start rolling out the beta test. I'm hoping maybe I'm in Podunk, Kentucky, that I'll be a great test for them. I don't know how many people in Kentucky are interested in this. But supposedly it's like low orbit satellites. It's supposed to be able to get super fast internet to basically anywhere. So hopefully I'll be able to get into the beta of that. And if not, if it does work when it rolls out just to consumers, we will definitely look into that if it becomes an option. But I've done everything in my power. I have no other options where I live other than what I have. It sucks. So we will close the book there on Zorns, and we will open it up to the audience. I've counted at least 3 people that have at least checked in a little bit. But we like to end every episode with... any questions? If you have anybody in the audience has questions for me or for Ryan or for us, It doesn't have to be RPG related, though that's certainly helpful. We'll do what we can. So Gygar, no. Literally.
His question is because I can't see it in chat.
Oh, sorry. He asked about Comcast. No. So I live in Podunk, Kentucky, and Spectrum. It was a big ordeal. So Spectrum is the big company in this area. I am 1.3 miles further away than their last connection. The only company that will service us is this. It's called Access Cable. It's out of Tennessee, and they have the monopoly. I even talked to Spectrum. I'm like, but I want you to come here. And there's like, well, Access has that area. We're not going to compete with them. That's not how capitalism works. You're supposed to compete. You have a better product and it's cheaper. But no. So other than moving my house a mile and a 0.3 down the road, I have no other options other than satellite. Like there's a company that does satellite internet right now, HughesNet. But their speeds are not any better than what we have, and they're even less reliable. So we can't, because my wife works from home. She has to have decent internet. So this is really the only option we have. So New York Tater asked about the future of a catacon. My fingers are still crossed that we're going to have it physical in real life at catacon this year. But if I'm being honest with myself, I don't think it's going to happen. So the current plan is I'm going to have a Kickstarter at the end of August. Where you can buy badges that if we don't have it this year, will count for next year. And if we can't have it this year, we're going to do a virtual one instead. So in all honesty, we're probably going to do a virtual catacon this year. But I do have some bills. I bought some stuff for a catacon. I had art that was made. So I have some money that I need to pay people. They've been very gracious, like not pounding me for. So I need to raise a little bit of money. So I'm hoping that this will raise enough that I can pay off the bills that I already accrued from this year, and then the rest of it I'll just put it in the bank and for next year. But the plan is to do it either virtual or a real catacon. Probably going to be virtual. Like, as much as I want to do it, things are getting worse, not better right now. So it's not like I can even say, well, we're getting closer. If anything, I think we're further away now than we were. But there will be a Kickstarter probably the end of August, early September, where you can buy a badge for this year, or if it doesn't work out, it will roll over and you'll be able to buy a badge for next year.
Sounds like, from a marketing point of view, Michael's saying buy 1 year of a catacon and get a second year free.
Sort of. You buy virtual this year. Next year you've already paid for it. It's like a Kickstarter Christmas present. Like, you already bought your ticket to a catacon. The one thing I will say, if anybody is looking to game the system, is I am going to put VIP tickets up. I doubt they're all going to go, because I don't think we're going to have a catacon. So if you really want to be a VIP and you've had trouble in the past getting a VIP ticket, this could be your opportunity. Buy a VIP ticket now, and then next year when we do the Kickstarter, I'll subtract the difference. So if we do 30 VIP, we've already sold 12, then there'll only be 18 available next year. So that might be the one thing, if people are really interested in like a VIP, this might be the workaround to get close. I wish I had better news. I really do, but I'm just trying to be realistic with myself. I'm not hopeful.
All of us wishes he had better news too, because everyone that helps does enjoy the weekend, does enjoy loving seeing everybody's smiling faces, having fun playing games. We love running games for you guys, being there. So we're looking forward to it as much as you are as a player, because it really always, my favorite, and talking to some of the other guys, our favorite moment is connecting with our fans and with people. So it would make our world if we could do it. But yeah, safely, I have to agree with Michael so far.
Yeah. Again, I just wishes and fishes and what's that whole thing. But I mean, last year was like our most successful year in terms of attendance. We actually made some money last year, which is great. And then, not that that's the reason, like, obviously that's not why we've done this. If we did it, it would be very different. But I came into this year with such momentum. This was the first year in 3 years where I didn't go to a catacon saying, I'm never doing this again. Like, I went to a catacon like, this is amazing. I cannot wait. So this is even more painful for me. So New York Tater left a message that says, watch for a gift tomorrow. I'm almost terrified to think about what that means.
Did he say GIFT or GIF?
FT, gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
So physical, so gift somewhere.
Yeah. So
okay.
I don't know. I'm intrigued. but I'm also
Yeah.
terrified because New York Tater,
Yeah.
I have
Kinda
met
creepy.
you. So intrigued and terrified, definitely. Hey, Dirty Habanero jumped in. Yeah, Detention, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, coming back. We've had 2 internet problems already this episode, but we're going to see what... Dirty. Look for a Dirty... Oh, he's talking about that. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we're getting close to wrapping up. I'm trying to read.
For a dirty gift?
Yeah.
That would be really
I know. I was like, oh, no, PG-13. But we're still taking questions from the audience, a few more. Ryan, do you, while we're waiting for any questions, anything you want to chat about? Where can people find you? That kind of stuff.
So I will say, as when you took your break, I will say I've been pretty dormant on Twitter. I just am trying to run a busy life and pay attention to things, so I don't get to use my thumbs on my phone as much as I would like to or probably should. But I am reachable. I'm found on there. I'm part of our Discord at RPG Academy. You can hit me up there or on Twitter. And if you can find me on there, you can probably find me on Facebook. Name's not the same on there, separate, but I'm reachable and approachable, and I think a pretty nice guy. I don't know.
You got your moments.
See. I mean, nobody's perfect. So Teleport88 on Discord and on Twitter. And if you really need Facebook, you can try to find me. Reach out to me one of those 2 ways, and I'll let you know.
Or just hit up the RPG Academy Facebook, and if I can get a hold of Ryan for you. Like if you don't know who he is in real life, just post on there like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a hold of Ryan," and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, or if you know Tom, me and Tom live right down the road from each other. Honestly, there's no excuse why me and Tom should be hanging out a lot more and playing more games together. But busy life, busy kids type of thing. We regularly game with Tom Cantwell, who's a member of the RPG Academy. We do, when live events were going on regular basis, we were doing those together as often as we could. So I'm around if you need me, have any questions, I'll talk about anything with you.
So Geiger68, yeah, so I pay $130 a month for our really crappy internet. And if we could get Spectrum, which Spectrum's not the greatest company in the world, but I had them in Cincinnati, our speeds would be more than double and probably closer to triple upload, and we'd be paying like $60 a month. So I'm paying twice as much for a third of the internet. It sucks. I hate it. It's awful. I've cried about it enough, but...
I feel like you should just say, I'll pay you to run the wire an extra mile. And then monthly payments, and we're all good, right?
I literally said that to them. I was like, how much will it cost me to make you run that line or to get you run the line? And they're like, we're not going to compete with access. Like I don't know. It's weird.
It's got to be some kind of FCC rules or something stupid, because like you said, capitalism, that's the way it's supposed to work. If you have a paying customer, you want to try to get to them, right? I mean, you're offering, for God's sakes.
Yeah. So Dirty Habanero has 300 megabytes for $50 a month. Yeah, I would. So download, we're actually okay. We hit like between 160 and 200, which is great. Like all of our devices work fine. We can watch Netflix with hardly any buffering. It's the upload that's getting me, because we max out at like 7, and sometimes it's like 2. And that's what's causing problems with this, because I'm hosting the call. I'm the one that's taking all this information from, Chad and me and Ryan talking and putting it to Twitter and Twitch, and that 7, if we're lucky, MBS is just not enough. It needs to be like, if I had like even 12 would be monumental, no problems. But yeah.
Where is Dirty Habanero at that he's getting 300 megabytes per second for what, $15 you said? $50
a month.
Still bad. Still pretty good.
Well, Frankie showed us that one picture. He is like a terabyte down or something. It's ridiculous. But anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Although he works for Comcast. So,
yeah, true. Yeah. Or, he probably gets the special.
Yeah.
So, but seriously, just again, to anybody, get on Discord. We try to keep it pretty small, so I don't post the invite just openly. But if you can find me on Twitter or DM, whatever, I'll send it to you. We try to organize games there, and then Tabletop Simulator. I'm telling you, I'm dying to play more games. Marvel Legendary, Dragonfire, whatever. I'm all about playing games. So if you want to try to get in on that, we have a channel now just for Tabletop Simulator to organize games and get people playing. So jump on Discord, jump on there, And let's play some games, particularly Marvel Legendary, because that's like my favorite. I love it. Yay. All right. So one last time, I'll throw it out. If anybody in chat has any questions for me or for Ryan. For myself, again, Michael at the RPG Academy. If you're watching this, you know who I am. But the other thing is listen to my new podcast, the Smallville one. I'm super excited about it. It's going well. It's not growing at the rate I was hoping, but I probably had unrealistic expectations because, hey, that's me. But I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. It's about the show Smallville, which I used to love. And I rewatched it once the quarantine. It was like the first thing I went through and watched all 10 seasons in like 2.5 months or something.
That's a lot of Smallville.
It's a lot of Smallville. But I was like, man, the show is actually pretty good. Not every episode. Some are really bad, but overall it's pretty good. And it just sort of like, this would be fun. I want to talk about it. I got the time, so I started another podcast. So there we go. All right. So I know there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll wait just a couple more seconds. But Ryan, buddy, thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you or any of the other guys. And then the plan is to do this every other Wednesday. So we're alternating with Tom's Ghost of Saltmarsh game. So the next one would be the 22nd?
Today's the 8th, so 14th. Yeah, 22nd.
So hopefully on the 22nd we'll be back. Hopefully that one will have a third co-host and we'll be back to kind of our normal detention rotation. I hope everybody joins us. New York Ted reminds everybody, make sure you be safe, wash your hands. And he's open to guest hosting. I might take you up on that because that might actually be helpful. We'll talk about that offline. So thanks everybody. Awkward wave out. Bye-bye.
See ya. Thanks for joining us.